Okay. Shh. I need a coffee. Well, I just lost my train of thought. I'm losing it. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my personal favorite products. I get a lot of questions pretty much on a daily basis about what brands I love and what I actually take myself. So not all supplements are created equally. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about my go-tos. So the first thing we're going to talk about is multivitamins. So multivitamins are one of my three, let's say, holy grail supplements. So I always say that everyone should take a multi, an omega, and a probiotic. I like multivitamins for daily use, but I also like multivitamins that are third-party tested. So Mega Food is one of my favorite companies. The reason being is they do potency and purity tests from a third-party lab, which means the lab actually has no affiliation to the brand whatsoever, and they guarantee that what is on the packaging is actually inside the bottle. Supplements are unregulated in Canada for the most part, which means that companies can claim or make claims on their label of the ingredients inside the bottle, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in there, and they're not really held accountable for that. So a company like Mega Food, essentially what they do is they actually submit their products for third-party testing, and they guarantee that what is on the packaging is in the bottle. So Mega Food multivitamins are definitely my go-to and what I recommend for all my clients. So the second product that we're going to talk about today is one of the, once again, the three that I recommend everybody take, a probiotic. So I like a couple of probiotic brands actually. So Flora is one of my favorite brands. The reason being is because it actually is a really good product. They actually are an ethical company, but also because it's a really good price point. So not everyone wants to go spend $70 a month on a probiotic. So this guy right here is really great for people on a budget or those who have a family and have to buy multiple SKUs of vitamins and minerals every single month. This bottle ranges depending on where you purchase it. So if you're in a major city center, this would range from $25. If you were in a more remote location, it can go as high as $40. So it really depends on the population and how much need there is for the product, because obviously that'll drive the price down. But these are probably one of the most cost-effective that you can purchase currently on the market. So Dr. Ohhira's from a company called Botanica. This probably is, in my mind, one of the best products on the market. The reason being is because it's a fermented probiotic. So if you remember from my earlier videos as well, when we ferment food, we cause the development of probiotics and prebiotics inside the product itself. So what that means is this is probably the most potent medical grade probiotic that you can take currently. This product is available at most whole food health food stores. So it is a little bit more expensive, I'll be honest with you. You get what you pay for. So these ones are considered therapeutic or medical grade because of the fermentation and because of the potency inside these. These are also enteric coated. So unlike these refrigerated probiotics, Dr. Ohhira's will actually be found on the shelf. So when we enterically coat a probiotic, it means that heat, light, and oxygen cannot penetrate that capsule. So these are not just tablets, these are actually in blister packs. So they've been sealed. So they come very differently than you would see inside of one of the bottles of the other probiotics. So just to reiterate, these are on the shelf. They're enteric coated, but they still are really, really effective. So just because they're on the shelf, generally that would mean it's a lower quality probiotic. In this case, it's the opposite. So these are fermented and they have a very high culture count, which makes them awesome. These actually, although they are more expensive, you sometimes don't have to take them as often. So the Flora product, generally you'd have to take this 1 to 2 times a day. Dr. Ohhira's, sometimes people can get away with one every 2 days or even every 3 days, depending on what's going on with their intestinal system. The third product that we're going to talk about is one of the three that I recommend everybody take. So multivitamin, probiotic, and the last one is an omega-3 supplement. So I love Botanica, obviously, because this is the second Botanica product that I'm introducing to you. But this omega-3 from Botanica is emulsified and it is also flavored. So these are really awesome and family friendly. So there's a lot of children that are really difficult to get to take fish oils because they taste fishy. You get the fish burps and the fish aftertaste afterwards, which is really unpleasant for most people, but children especially. So this product is so flavored and so creamy that you can actually put this thing on pancakes, waffles, you can add it to granola, yogurt, you can hide it in a lot of foods, and it comes in a really wide variety of flavors. So Botanica is third-party tested once again, And also, this company tests for pesticides, impurities, and carcinogens within their product. So that means that this comes from fish in the ocean, and we also know that fish can be contaminated. So what this company actually does to make sure that this is the healthiest product possible is they test for PCBs and pesticides that are known to be inside the flesh of fish. So they're actually guaranteeing that you're not contaminating yourself by thinking you're doing a really good thing and taking a supplement. So once again, these are an omega-3 only. So we don't have any blending of omega oils. Sometimes you'll see an omega-3 and omega-6 together. We don't want any more omega-6. We already get enough of it day to day. So just an omega-3 is essential. These are also one of the highest in EPA and DHA. So EPA and DHA are what make up an omega-3, and that ratio or that amount of EPA and DHA varies from product to product. So this one actually happens to be extremely high in it, and we know that it's not contaminated with things that we don't want to be ingesting, so I love this product. Next thing I'm going to talk about is vitamin D. So vitamin D, especially for those living in a northern environment, so anything north of the equator essentially, where we have not a lot of sunlight for most of the year, vitamin D becomes super important. So vitamin D is not all created equal. It comes in a capsule, and it also comes in like an oil liquid form. So personally, I love the oil liquid form just because if you do the research on it, generally this tends to be a little bit more potent than the capsules, because when we dehydrate an oil or we alter it, sometimes it's not as potent or as pure. Having said that, Prairie Naturals is a phenomenal Canadian company, and I really stand behind their products, and so do they. So vitamin D3 is really important that we take it if you are living in, especially northern Alberta, for all my northerners. But also for children. Children really need vitamin D for growth and development of brain, heart, bones, and skeletal muscles becomes super important, and also as we age. So anyone reaching menopause or possibly at risk for osteoporosis, vitamin D becomes super critical. So vitamin D, I always want to be combined with K1 or K2. So vitamin K we don't really talk about actually a whole lot, because vitamin K, we generally don't take it in an over-the-counter form. It's not necessary for us to do so. We actually manufacture some of it inside our intestines. But what becomes important is that vitamin D is really hard for us to absorb when we don't have K1, K2. So I always recommend that if you're gonna get a tincture or a capsule, it comes in combination with K1 and K2. The next thing I'm gonna talk about plays in with our digestion. So unfortunately, as we age, we sometimes get depleted in enzymes. Sometimes certain foods we eat actually deplete us of enzymes, and sometimes we're just born with not as many enzymes as other people have. So any people who have constant gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, sometimes a digestive enzyme is really great. I don't recommend that you just go to the store and buy a digestive enzyme, but having said that, they can alleviate a lot of discomfort that a lot of people have. So if your medical professional okays you for enzymes, I definitely absolutely love them. These are something that I take all the time. And I also recommend that a lot of my clients take them based on their health history. So what these enzymes are designed to do is help us break down our food. So enzymes come from our mouth, they come from our stomach, our pancreas, and we also have bile that's been secreted from our gallbladder that originally came from our liver. So essentially what has happened is, if we're depleted in any of those enzymes, food breakdown becomes harder, and it results in all those nasty symptoms I talked about, like gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, that uncomfortable tummy feeling that some people get, like their stomach isn't settled after a heavy meal. So sometimes if we just take a probiotic and an enzyme, it can alleviate that. So I do love enzymes for a large majority of the population. The next product that I'm going to talk about, these are actually available at a lot of drugstores now and even grocery stores. So Lorna Vanderhaeg makes products that are designed specifically for women. I really like her product line. I can't say that she has the most potent or purity tested products on the market, but she has really phenomenal blends. And I really like that she has a targeted approach. So the bottle that I'm holding right now is specifically designed for your thyroid. So it's a blend of vitamins and minerals that have been scientifically shown to improve thyroid health. So she has adrenal, menopausal support, PMS support, the list goes on. She makes a tremendous amount of blended products, which I actually recommend a lot of my clients to take if they're on a budget. So because she is available at most let's say, common retailers like Shoppers Drug Mart, Safeway, London Drugs, you will find that her price point is much more reasonable than a lot of the other brands I'm talking about. So for that reason, she is really awesome for people who are on a budget, and she has specific blends, which makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to hire somebody like me to tell you, take 4 individual supplements for your thyroid. You can walk in, pick this up off the shelf, and know that it has everything in it that is required to support your thyroid. Green supplements. So these are considered whole foods ground up into powder form. Then you add it to a liquid and you drink it. So this can go in a smoothie, it can go with water depending on if it's flavored or not. So I like a couple different brands. So Genuine Health and also Progressive. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because they are brands that I actually do recommend on a regular basis. So I like Canadian companies and I like ethical companies, and I like companies that make sound scientific decisions, and I feel like Genuine Health and both Progressive do that. They have really nice blends. They use organic when they can, which makes me happy because we don't want to be ingesting pesticides and herbicides. This green supplement actually has a flavor, so it's green apple flavored, but it's flavored with actual green apple pulp. So it's a whole food supplement. It's not that there's stevia in it or there's artificial sweetener of any kind, no sucralose. So that's one reason I like it. And Progressive does the exact same thing. So they use whole foods to actually sweeten their products, and they don't add artificial sweeteners. So you have to be careful when you're looking at brands, because a lot of time they actually will use a chemical to sweeten. But these I love because they actually use fruit to sweeten it. So these also, what you'll find is a lot of times if you take a green supplement and it tastes really awesome, it means that it has some flavoring added to it. These ones actually taste like food. So if you were to grind up all the ingredients in here, like evening primrose, pumpkin seed, spinach, parsley, dandelion, brown rice, the whole thing, it's gonna just taste like you ground up some green stuff, and that's exactly what you get. So these are really good to add to things if you don't have the ability to stomach just the greens flavor. Also, I like powdered grasses. So I use these every single day. So I'll actually add these to smoothies, shakes, and I do a lot of juicing personally myself. So I juice vegetables only, and I'll add this to the juice just so I'm really packing in the nutrients. So to put it in perspective, 1 scoop of this would be the equivalent of eating like a grocery cart full of vegetables. So we've taken an entire vegetable group, we've ground it down into a powder form, and then we ingest it. So all the vitamins and minerals that would normally be present in a bunch of spinach, a whole thing of kale, 4 cucumbers, and a watermelon is now in a scoop of this. So it's really condensed, concentrated way to get nutrients. So what you're doing is you're ensuring that all your bases are covered. So yes, I'm taking a daily multivitamin, but I'm also backing that up with a green supplement that's loaded with vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all those beautiful things that come inside plants. So not everybody gets what they need from food. Sometimes they don't have the proper digestion. Sometimes they have an intolerance and inability to digest, and sometimes they just don't like eating the vegetables. So children are a really good example who would benefit from a green supplement, because you can put this in a really delicious smoothie, add some pineapple, add some blueberries, things that kids like the taste of, and you can hide something that is actually really good for their growth and development inside a drink like that. So adding this to a protein shake is a really... I'm not farting. It's So adding this to a protein shake is a really great way to make sure that you're getting your greens in. So sometimes it's really great to take this in conjunction with a multivitamin, but if you're not taking a multivitamin, I always recommend a greens, and vice versa. So the last thing I'm going to talk about today is teas. So I actually really love tea personally because it satiates a lot of my cravings. So I'm someone who I love sweets, I love snacking in the evening, but unfortunately you can't have snacks every day, all day. So what I do is I have teas. I have now shifted from teas, like let's say David's teas that actually have sugar and sweeteners in them, and they use fruit, so there are some calories associated to consuming those teas. So I've actually eliminated a lot of those harshly flavored teas, and what I'm going more towards currently is teas that have health benefits associated to them. So for instance, this one is reishi mushrooms, and it has turmeric and ginger in it. So mushrooms are kind of a unique item Mushrooms actually mimic our own immune system. So to boost your immune system, eating mushrooms is really, really important. It also has turmeric and ginger. So turmeric and ginger are both anti-inflammatory, so it's really great if we have any sort of inflammatory process happening inside the body, and as a human, unfortunately, that happens quite frequently. Ginger also helps with our digestion, and these taste awesome. So teas are something that I recommend for a lot of my clients, especially if they're weight loss clients. I definitely say start incorporating teas and find some that have some health benefits. So I'm not hating on flavored teas from big commercial retailers. Those are awesome too, but try to find some that, you know, do a little research. It has a mushroom in it, or it has some ginger or some turmeric like this one. And it's a really great way to make sure that you're staying super healthy, you're aiding in your digestion, and you're staying on track with your meals. In conclusion, vitamins and minerals and use of supplements is not always 100% necessary. Although I think just because of the way that we began commercially farming, we've added pesticides, herbicides, all those things that deplete us of vitamins and minerals inside the body. We're at a state now in our society where most people do suffer from some level of vitamin and mineral deficiency. So it's a really great way to make sure that you've incorporated whole food supplements that make sure your growth, development, and your aging are all where they're supposed to be. So I will say that it's really great that we have access through health food stores and retailers that we can just go purchase whatever we need. However, it's not always safe to just take whatever you think you need. So I always recommend that you talk to a physician, a nutritionist, a dietitian, somebody before you start a regime, because you can actually harm yourself with these. They're not always just, I'm just taking a multivitamin, I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes they interact with other drugs, other medications that you're taking. Sometimes you have an underlying condition that they may interact with. So please always make sure that you are discussing this with your healthcare provider or a nutrition professional who can advise you on the right course of treatment. If you like this video today, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos on similar topics.
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one.